Welcome to MVP News, where we get real about football. And now to your hosts, Mike Pagano and Paul Helmers.
What's going on, guys? This is Mike Pagano and Paul Helmers over at MVP News. It's Tuesday, September 18th. We're here for the midweek update. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, Mike, how's it going? Probably not so good after that Monday night loss, huh?
I was actually kind of prepared for it. I knew it was coming. There's no way I was going to come on here not expecting it. And honestly, let's just roll right into it. I mean, it was Monday night. It's last night. Let's talk about that game. What I saw is a Seattle offense that was unable to move the ball. Unable to do anything. The penalties were stacking up. Germain Ifedi was getting completely dominated. I mean, Germain Ifedi might as well have taken the day off, and there would have been zero difference. I mean, Khalil Mack is a beast. He's a beast. But here's the question, and I made a video about this on our YouTube page, which I'm sure some people have seen it. But I asked, is it Seattle's defense that kept us in the game? Or was it Mitch Trubisky just making mistakes? And that's what scares me. Now, I'm not going to put too much heat into the defensive side of the ball, whether it's Trubisky or not. I'm going to let that be the one positive that they were able to do some stuff. The offense, though, I'm completely worried. Schottenheimer, I'm hoping that he can be like his dad or something. I don't know what to expect.
Good old Marty. Love Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah, exactly. But all in all, it's a terrible loss. Seattle looked bad. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Am I going to throw the towel in on them? No, because I've seen teams start 0-2 and flip it around. In fact, I've seen it's more often than not, as in the last 10 to 15 years, I want to say, not throughout NFL history. But I mean, we see all the time teams start 5-0, 6-0, these hot teams, and then they never even get close to the playoffs. And then we see teams like the Patriots go 0-2 and then win the Super Bowl. The Seattle was 0-2 in 2015, made the divisional round. We've seen the Ravens. We've seen the Giants. I mean, we've seen it happen. So I'm not going to count them out. The probability of it, it's not there. So I'm not going to sit here and call them on the Super Bowl. But what I am saying is it could still turn around and be a good Super Bowl. I mean, a good season for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not really fair so far for the Seahawks with their awful offensive line. They've had to go against two of the best defensive pass rushers in the entire league. First with Von Miller, then with Khalil Mack. It doesn't really give them a real shot at what we're looking at for the whole season. Not everyone has those two guys. Not everyone is that good on defense. I mean, they are what they are, right? We know the Seahawks offense. They've struggled on offense for the past couple of years. And to your point about Mitch Trubisky and the Bears offense or the Seahawks defense, I think a lot of that is Mitch Trubisky. I mean, Seahawks are missing Bobby Wagner and a couple big names, and the Bears still couldn't move. I think that's more on the Bears. Honestly, Mitch Trubisky looked really scared. Frantic, moving around too much, trying to spin out of things that weren't really there. That's what I noticed. But I think the Seahawks defense isn't gone. I think they still have a good defense. It doesn't just disappear like that, even if players leave. But they still have Frank Clark. They still have Bobby Wagner. They still got Earl Thomas. They still have players there. They just lost a couple of big names. And honestly, Richard Sherman's pretty old. I mean, it was kind of time for him to go anyway. So I don't I think this game, honestly, what this game showed me, and here's my hot take of the week, right, is that the Seahawks are similar to the Bears. I mean, not necessarily in how their team functions, but just the level of talent that they have and what we might expect from them this season. That's what I think. I think the Seahawks and Bears are similar in their outcomes.
Okay. I'll take that. That's understandable. But no, I agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, We do have the injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So let me ask you this. Let me go ahead and jump right in here. We said it about the Bills last week. I know you want to bring it up. So many people are bringing it up. They're number 28 on the power rankings for the NFL's power rankings. Now, that's a whole nother story about their power rankings. Believe me, we could touch on it if you wanted. But are you ready to fork the Seahawks?
No, I'm not. I'm not ready to fork them yet. I know they're 0-2. I know I mean, that gives them 11% chance of making the playoffs if we're looking at history. But I don't think. I mean, Seahawks start slow a lot. I don't think they're necessarily done. Now, I don't think they can win their division. I don't think anyone can stop the Rams over there in the West. But that doesn't mean it's not possible for them to hit a wild card. I don't have them pick for wild card, but I don't think they're done yet. I think we still need to see a little more from them before we put the fork in them.
All right, sounds good. Let's go ahead and get into something more interesting, though. Khalil Mack, 2 games in a row now, has shown us that this man is not just a good defensive player. I know that I mentioned this to you off air. I think it was earlier today or yesterday that the hype might not have been all there when the trade first happened because we haven't seen the Khalil Mack that really exists. It's been several months. He was, sitting at home working out, and you forget what happens the year before. Man, I forgot. Because Khalil Mack in the last 2 games has showed me that this man is not only is he on pace to look like the defensive player of the year, he's on pace to set a resume, a type of Hall of Fame type of year, if you ask me. I can't even say anything really that hasn't been said adjectives wise. Khalil Mack shows all the traits that you need: the speed, the power, the strength, the energy, the drive. The only thing that I would say that he does lack is, I don't know, being lazy. The guy is literally all around the perfect pass rusher. He complements this Bears defense, which in its own was already coming into this offseason with some type of, credit, some young talent, some hype. And he came in and here just boosted it. And I know that the Raiders fans are extremely upset. They were last week. They are this week. And I don't think they're going to let it go anytime soon.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's insane to see what kind of impact one player can really bring to a defense. I think that's what we all look for in defensive players of the year, right? Everyone says J.J. Watt has it, but when J.J. Watt leaves the game, when he's injured like he is so often, I mean, it's not like the Texans defense changes much. They're still getting to the quarterback. They're still shutting people down. They're still a top-ranked defense. But when you look at the difference between the Bears then and the Bears now, I know they added Roquan Smith in the draft, and he's a good player, but I don't think he's really the impact. The impact's Khalil Mack, who's in the backfield every single play of the game. Every single play. I mean, the whole game last night was a Khalil Mack highlight reel. The Raiders, I mean, their defense last week didn't look awful. I didn't think they really lost a lot, but when you think about what it could be if Khalil Mack was there, it's a huge difference. And then on top of that, their defense did not look that good this week against kind of a middling offense. The Broncos aren't that great on offense, and the Raiders definitely didn't get them. And I saw a graphic today, I think from ESPN, that Khalil Mack has better personal stats than the entire Raiders defense has.
Yeah, I think I also saw that. I know that, sacks alone, I wouldn't doubt that he isn't beating at least, 3/4 of the NFL right now. Like,
right.
He's literally being a monster out there. And I mean, it goes back to week 1 after the game with the Rams. John Gruden said we needed to find a pass rush out there. No, you needed to not lose the pass rush that you gave away.
Right.
I mean, it's mind blowing. As far as the Bears go, I think they have a solid top 10 defense, and depending on Mack, I think this defense could be a little bit better. We're talking like top 7 defense with this with this young.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So I mean, the Bears are definitely looking serious. All in all, though, I think that the division still is, the Vikings exist and the Packers exist. So at the end of the day, we need Mitch Trubisky to be something. If the Bears want to do something, that offense needs to kind of pick up, and we'll see what happens. That's why I kind of can see where you're going with the fact that the Bears and the Seattle. So I can see that completely. But all in all, great defense. Khalil Mack's a beast out there. But I mean, speaking of trades, though. So we have a little bit of a recent trade that a lot of people are talking about, and I definitely wanted to touch base with you about it. You being a Browns fan makes this even more interesting because I know that you have a special relationship with this gentleman. So as everybody's heard by now, there's nothing secretive about this. This has been talked about left and right. Josh Gordon has been traded to the Patriots for a 5th-round draft pick. This is pending a physical. The physical, last I checked, has not been done yet, so we don't know the word on that. Obviously, everything's looking like it's going to go through. There's not going to be an issue. But, again, I mean, we're not going to say it's 100% with Josh Gordon. That's the thing. For him, you kind of have to say pending the physical because he's the kind of guy that this issue happens with. But I mean, when you heard the news, I knew you already knew it was coming that he was going to get released or traded. But when you heard that it was the Patriots, what happened? How did you feel about that?
I honestly, to me, it just matters if we got the best deal available, right? And to me, the fact that we trade him to the Patriots means that we got the best deal available. There was reports that their preference was to trade him to an NFC team, get him out of the conference, which is huge respect to.
We would have took him,
player, right, and that's what I'm saying. If your intent is to move him to the NFC, there's plenty of NFC teams that could use Josh Gordon. Honestly, in my opinion, all 16 NFC teams can use Josh Gordon. So the fact that they sent him to the Patriots means that the 5th-round pick was the best offer they got. And as much as I want to say he's worth so much more than that, he also, he has his problems. He's missed 94 career games in 6 years. He had the injury, right? Make that 95 games in 6 and some change years, right? And he just – when you have the injury that happens at a promo shoot that's not team sponsored, you have to move the guy. I love the guy. I wish he didn't have to be moved. I wish we still had him. But this is what happens when you can't follow the team rules. When you keep letting someone down over and over again. It's not like we kept him on a short leash, right? The guy had so many chances.
That's the problem. I honestly think that's the problem, though, and not on the Browns' fault. I think the problem was in his head. He had that 1,000, lead the league. And he had the lead in the league year,
1,600 yards.
And then the very next year, he had some. He missed a couple games suspension. He came in and he had like a bomb game and another bomb game. Then he missed time, but. I think in his head, he's gassed up and he knows I'm the ish. And we know that he has this self-loathing issue when you have that, it's a bipolarism. And I'm not saying Josh Gordon's bipolar, but usually there's them ups and downs. So that, he has those ups moments. He's the man. And then he does his thing, but he's like, they're not going to let go of me. I'm the man, so right. I feel like I think that the way that his relationship was with the Browns is that he felt so indispensable that they kept letting him get away with it that now he doesn't give a dang. See, the problem is now, and maybe not the problem, but the solution is where he's going, Bill Belichick don't care if you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. You miss a practice, you sitting on the bench. We've seen him bench starting running backs in like the playoffs for fumbling it when it was like the best punch ball ever. Wasn't even his fault.
It doesn't matter.
The defender could have pulled a gun out on the field and Belichick's like, you dropped the ball. Like he was going to shoot me. It's like the episode from what's that movie where the running back is running and he pulls the gun out and starts shooting everybody during the run in the first opening scene. It's like the Postal Man or it's with Bruce Willis. But side note there, in the opening scene, the running back's running and he reaches into his jockstrap and he pulls out a little 22 and he starts shooting the defenders running at him on the field in front of the entire crowd. I see Bill Belichick still benching the players that got shot. Like, you didn't make the tackle. Like, that's how serious he is. But on all seriousness, so Josh Gordon is going somewhere where he can't play these games. You can't show up late. Yeah,
Right.
you care, but you're gone. There's no
And that's a habitual
man.
problem for him too.
Exactly. And Josh Gordon's those games don't matter no more. You didn't do those for the Patriots. You didn't have the 200 and I was looking at his stats today because I wanted to remember him for who he was, because it's like you said, we forgot about Khalil Mack over 7 months. I forgot about him. That one game this year didn't do it. That was a catch.
Right.
I can't believe he had 3 games back to back where he dropped 500 yards in 3 games. It was
two straight. Yeah, two straight games over 200 yards. Honestly, so those 2 straight games over 200 yards, I bought his jersey after that. As soon as that happened, I still have it in my closet. It's an old style Browns jersey, better jerseys in my opinion. But that tends to be what happens for me is I buy someone's jersey and they end up a disappointment to the city. So I'm done, right? I'm not buying any more. Right? I got a couple of LeBron jerseys hanging in the closet. I got a Joe Hayden jersey in there. I had a Trent Richardson jersey, but that one's gone. Those are all players that end up that are just, they've all left me, So I can't do that anymore.
The Trent one would hurt me the most, though. One would hurt me the most.
Honestly, that one doesn't, and that one's gone anyway. I got rid of it. But so the Trent Richardson thing, he came in as a rookie and honestly lit it up. He wasn't the best in the league, but he ran for over 900 yards, which isn't great, but it was a Browns record. He broke the Browns rookie touchdown record, rushing touchdown record. He did all these things, and it looked like he was going to be great, and I'm excited. And then the next year they move him and get a first-round pick back for him, right? So they didn't really lose any picks for him. And I was so mad.
In your mind, you were wearing a first-round draft pick jersey.
And so I was so mad when they traded him, but Trent Richardson ended up to be a terrible NFL player.
No, that's true.
In the league now, and we got our money back for him, basically.
Yeah.
That's where I'm kind of sitting on him. Now, Josh Gordon, we took him in the second round of the supplemental draft. So, but what that means is we lost our second-round pick in the following draft. So, we didn't get a second rounder back for him. We did get some good games out of him, but those games were, basically wasted.
Yeah.
We didn't make the playoffs those years. But
so speaking of jerseys, because I'm looking at my my tracker here, and we are ahead of time a little bit, so I just want to throw it out there. I still have a Percy Harvin jersey. So talking about terrible jersey decisions, what do we drop on that man? I can't even count the amount of millions of dollars. I think it was 30 million we dropped on him. He came in injured, but the good news is, out of nowhere, he comes in and has the kick return for a touchdown in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. So all's well. And he got his ring. So you know what I mean? He got to sit off the whole entire season for the greatest defense in the last, arguably tied up. I would say tied up with the Ravens of 2002. Was it 2002? 2000?
Just 2000, yeah.
2000, yeah. I get the I was thinking of 2000. So arguably, and we can have another discussion on that one day.
You're saying what, in the 2000s?
Yeah, I think, the Broncos year that the Seattle played the Broncos, because you got to understand, and like I said, this isn't on our show map today, but I will hint at this. The Broncos were the greatest offense of all time. Broke every single record in the record book.
Whoa, hold on.
We demolished them.
I'm still going to give this to the 2000 Ravens, but I'm also going to say that they were the best offense of all time. You're rivaling John Elway, Terrell Davis in Denver.
I'm talking about statistically.
Oh, statistically.
Because prior to that, there was no one that did what they did offensively, statistically. But all right, so let me go ahead and get back to the show, Matt. This is why people like us, though. We like to talk about everything. So, Josh Gordon, get rid of the jerseys, Browns fans. He's gone. He's not coming back. I know it was a hard relationship to give up on. Hey, it happens. Now, Patriots-wise, let's think about it. Let's look at it and let's talk about it. I heard someone speaking today about it. They looked at the bet lines with Vegas, and Vegas hasn't changed anything yet. Now, I believe this is because the physical, and we don't know yet what he's going to do. I can guarantee you, as far as my knowledge goes, after a week or two, if we start to see Gordon making an impact, those Vegas lines are going to change. So I'm not going to say that because the day after the trade gets announced, the Vegas lines haven't changed yet, that, well, Vegas must know something we don't know. No, so I don't know why that was even a mention.
I mean, he only has one catch this season so far. Yeah, it was a 17-yard touchdown, and yeah, it was a great catch. But one catch in the season so far, you're not going to – I mean, he's not a world mover yet, right? He could be. And talking to some Patriots fans that I know, they think he could be like Randy Moss 2.0 for them. I mean, it really depends. I know it's definitely – I'm not the one who's going to jump on that Randy Moss 2.0 train. Randy Moss, a Hall of Famer, one of the best receivers to ever play the position. And you can't say Josh Gordon's that because of a couple of 200-yard games and a 1,600-yard season. You got to do it year after year, and he doesn't have year after year stats. I do think this is a big win for the Patriots in my book. I mean, they've been desperate for receivers with Julian Edelman out. Who's their guy? Philip Dorsett?
No.
Chris Hogan? No, none of those guys are in.
Anybody.
And now, I mean, they have a real deep threat now, right? A flanker deep threat, an outside deep threat, mixed with you can put Hogan in the slot and have him run deep. You can put him outside, have him run deep. When Edelman gets back, he's a slot guy. He's a picture-perfect slot guy. And that's most of their guys. Philip Dorsett's a slot guy. That's most of their guys. They have a real passing attack when you bring Edelman back. And
that's scary when Edelman comes back. If Gordon plays out to what Gordon can be, and Edelman and Gronk,
it's scary, right?
Yeah, see, I can't even say words because you got to look at it this way. Take Edelman off the field. If Gordon gives him exactly what he can, so let's be honest. All right, so the Gordon Moss thing, I get what they're saying, like size-wise, I guess, and like athletic.
Right, but
Gordon's only, what, 27, 28, 27?
He's pretty young, yeah.
Yeah, he's not old. And when Moss came, he was 30. And what people fail to realize is prior to that, Moss stunk up the field in the Raiders. They were 2-14, I think.
Right.
They weren't that good.
The Vikings Moss, yeah.
He was ready to retire. He didn't, it's not like we're talking Moss in his prime, but at the same time, I'm not going to disrespect Moss that way. But I get what people are saying. If Gordon comes there and he gets that jolt, he notices that this is a no crap, organization. They're not going to play this game. They're going to put me in check, and I can be somebody here. So, now it's worth it. If he does that, if you double Gordon, Gronk's going to have a field day. If you double Gronk, Gordon's going to have a field day. If you don't double either and you try and scheme something, Brady's going to have a field day because Brady will pick apart your scheme. Then you put Edelman there.
Two guys. Yeah, and then you add Edelman back in week 5. They're dirty, and that's what they do. This is what the Patriots always do. They find a way to set themselves apart from everybody else. It's just what they do.
Belichick is like me in the fantasy game because he likes to play that waiver wire.
Who's got that trophy from last year? Who's got that trophy?
All right, so you beat me in the championship. I give you that. But and don't worry, people. I know you're listening. Like they probably played their own fantasy league by themselves. If somehow they ended up in there, no. And in fact, our fellow leaguemen are probably watching this. That's right. This is number 1 and number 2 right here. But no, seriously though, Belichick plays the waiver wire. So for you fans out there that play the waiver wire, that's what Belichick's doing. He's constantly watching that. He's constantly seeing who can I go out there and get and build on my team. He doesn't come into the season, and this is every year. He never comes into the season at week 1 saying, my roster's locked. Let's go win the Super Bowl with this roster.
Right.
And even if it's not big name people, he's making moves that you don't even know about. I bet if we look at it, there's been moves. Like
there has.
Constantly. He's a chess master. So no, definitely.
There's been a couple quiet moves. Even at the wide receiver position, there's been a couple quiet moves.
Yeah.
No one like big name, but he's waived a couple guys, brought in a couple guys. Corey Coleman, who used to be a Browns first-round pick, got brought into the Patriots, but they cut Coleman to make room for Gordon because I'm between the two, I'm going to take the guy who has all-star talent compared to the guy who's broken his hand like 6 times and can't learn a playbook apparently in Buffalo. So obviously the takeaway is he's going to do this exactly like you're saying. He plays the waiver wire. He plays the trade market. He's looking for whatever he can find to put his team above. Now, I'm wondering why they don't do anything on defense. Maybe it's a little bit of defensive hubris from Belichick, right, where he thinks that he's so good that he doesn't need a defense, but they don't look good on defense, as we saw this week. But I don't know. It's all – I think it's good for the league, if we're being honest. I think we get a redemption.
In the year where people are boycotting the NFL, because let's be real, we haven't brought it up, and it is happening. There's people that are boycotting it. There's people that are saying they don't want parts of it. The ratings are down some places. They're up some places. Like, it's kind of floating. So I would agree with you 100%. In a year like this, when you're having these things, I mean, for this to happen, it could help. But at the same time, I can also hear this coming in a moment. Oh, so Gordon gets a job and someone else doesn't. So, that argument could also be coming, and I'm sure we'll be, going down that road eventually. But no, I hope it helps the league out. I mean, regardless, it's going to be very interesting. This season's already, it's week 2. Week 2.
This is a good year so far. It's a good year.
This is why I love the NFL. I love it. And nothing against other sports, but I love it. 17 games. Every game matters. I'm already over here like, the season's probably over. It's how the NFL is.
You're still in it.
No, yeah, but you're still in it. Like, we've seen the Chiefs start off 6-0, and like the fans get hyped, and then boom, they crash and burn. They're like, what just happened? Right. Like, it's great. And speaking of trades, now I'm not saying that this trade has happened yet, but we have some issues going on over there in Pittsburgh. Now, a lot of us know already that in Pittsburgh, we have the issues with Lev Bell. Prior to the season starts, we hear about Big Ben thinking about, I can't do this anymore. Now he's in the best shape of his life. There's issues about money. Oh, I want to know what's in his pockets. I want to know what's in his pockets. They're talking about Lev Bell's pockets and how he's fine. And there's a lot of talk going on in this locker room. Well, recently, Sunday to be exact, there was a PR or an ex-PR guy from the Steelers organization that tweeted something on the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, that AB owes his career pretty much to Big Ben, and that Big Ben got AB paid. Now, AB did not like this, and Antonio responded, trade me, we'll see, or something on the lines of that. Now, originally, this was something that, me and Paul talked off air because, we're actual friends. This isn't just a gimmick, and we talk football all the time. And it was like, yeah, all right, whatever. AB's just being a smart aleck, obviously. And even his own teammates said that. Well, Monday, AB's nowhere to be found on the field. He does not show up to the practice facility. Today, Coach Tomlin comes out and admits and confirms that Antonio Brown was not there. What are your thoughts, Paul?
So Tomlin says Antonio Brown. Well, I think actually he didn't speak to the reason that Antonio Brown missed practice. But what I read is that the report is he missed practice for a personal reason. That could mean anything. I mean,
Josh Gordon used to miss things for personal reasons.
If you were in PR, how would you want to spin this? You would say, "Oh, it was a personal day. He needed a day
exactly."
Off. But why does he need a day off the day after he gets in a spout with his offensive coordinator on the sideline? I'm
glad that you brought that up. I forgot to bring that up.
Ben Roethlisberger runs for a touchdown, right? And he walks off the field, doesn't celebrate with the team as they're doing their thing after the touchdown. He walks off and goes and sits by himself. Right? He's obviously frustrated. So why does he need a personal day the day after all that? To me, that's the day that you need to show up and prove I'm here. I just had a rough day. You know what I mean? But I don't think they're going to trade Antonio Brown. There's no way the Steelers are going to lose Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown in the same year.
Yeah, that would be a total explosion. That would be the biggest meltdown in NFL history if that happened. And the Rooney family doesn't deserve that.
Right. Well, and I think the underlying story here is that the Steelers are a lot more dysfunctional than we are led to believe, and that you wouldn't really notice if you don't think about all the things that are going on right now and have gone on in the past. They seem to just have so much talent that they succeed no matter how dysfunctional they are. They've had this issue with Le'Veon Bell this year and last year, right? Antonio Brown got in the dispute on the sideline with Ben Roethlisberger. I believe it was last year, and he threw the water jug and all this stuff. You
expect
Antonio
that
Brown,
from these high personality players, though. We do expect it at a certain level,
right?
But then when it's starting to get like this, it's scary.
Well, and you have the locker room thing too with the Facebook Live in the locker room. You have all these things that are going on that are characteristic of dysfunctional organizations. And I don't think the organization as a whole is dysfunctional. Obviously, the Steelers have something going right, that they've been so good for so long. They've had how many down years in their whole time of being a team? They got the most Super Bowls. I mean, they know what they're doing there, right, as far as the front office goes. But
3 head coaches over the last who knows how many.
Yeah, 60 years or whatever. But that's my point, is that it seems like they're not dysfunctional, but then you witness what's been going on. And even before this, you had Ben Roethlisberger getting the motorcycle accident. He was talking about retirement because he never liked Todd Haley. They hired Todd Haley, right, when he didn't like Todd Haley. That all these things going on, it just seems like, to me, that they're just so talented that no matter how dysfunctional they are, they're going to succeed. But I do think there's a lot of problems going on that are kept quiet, which also is a huge testament to, even though there's dysfunction, they still believe in the Steelers brand. They're not going to go blab this out everywhere, no matter how many problems they have. They hash it out themselves and they figure it out. Now, they haven't been to a Super Bowl since they played the Cardinals, and was it
2011, 12?
Or was no, it was the Packers in
2011, I think. It had to be 11.
2010 season, Super Bowl in 2011.
Okay.
Right. That's the last Super Bowl they've been to. But they're always in the playoffs. They're always a threat. No one goes into a season and says the Steelers are done. There's no way they're going.
And that's the thing, though. They get so close, though. And there's something that's causing issues, because every year, look at things. Lev Bell has not started a season for the last 3 years, I think, because I remember him being suspended. And then he was
last year.
Last year was Martavius Bryant.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Last year was Bryant. The year before was Lev Bell. We've seen suspensions, and now we're seeing holdouts. And maybe it's the advanced technology. We're getting the Twitter, the Instagram.
Right.
Nowadays, you can't.
And there's a bigger spotlight.
Right. These guys are multi-millionaires. They want to be the celebrities. They want to be superstars. So obviously, that is a factor in it. But there's definitely something going on with Antonio Brown, and I'm wondering if the Lev Bell thing isn't rolling into it. I'm wondering if maybe we're looking at something and we're thinking it's a bunch of little problems, but actually it's really just becoming one big problem. And maybe it's just starting to get on people's nerves. Antonio Brown stuck up for Lev Bell when that issue happened. I remember that. Nobody really, I didn't hear anybody stick up for, Antonio Brown since, the weekend and the tweet. So I don't know if there's a dispute or a split in the locker room. Is there a split between the guys that are angry at Lev and the guys that remember Donovan and T.O.? So is there a split in the locker room? I don't know what's going on. Definitely something that's interesting. But let me ask you this. Now, let's talk about that tweet. That tweet was ridiculous. Who are you, Mr. PR, that you used to work with the Steelers, then you go out and try and trash them? And for anybody that you're going to trash AB and say that he relies on big men? You are something is wrong with you. AB is one of the most talented. If he's not number one, he's 1B or 1C, depending on how you rank your top receivers. But he's not in the one conversation in the league. I mean, one of the best route runners, fast, hands, so many intangible, he's got everything that you want. But the drive as well. It's like Brady, not all the athleticism is there, so he goes out and works for it. Antonio Brown's short. He's not your normal wide receiver's build. So he goes out and, from what I've been told, His diet is incredible. His off-season workout is incredible, and he's dedicated. And the guy's yards show for it. I think it's a mutual benefit. I wouldn't say Big Ben makes him. I wouldn't say he makes Big Ben because, I mean, Big Ben's got a ring before AB ever touched the field. Obviously Big Ben was a game manager then, but he still had that beautiful, touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. All in all, I definitely would say it's a mutual conversation, but that guy, whatever his name is, someone needs to drug test him.
Let me play some devil's advocate here, though. I don't want to put these guys on the same level. I just want to talk about a little bit about maybe some previous receivers. One really comes to mind, Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace was outstanding in Pittsburgh. Would probably one of the most dangerous deep threats in the game in the time that he played in Pittsburgh. He leaves Pittsburgh. Do you even know where he plays now? I mean, I know where he plays. He plays in Philly, but I'm saying but that's my point. Like he doesn't. He went to Miami for a little bit. I know he played.
Baltimore.
He's never been the same since he played with Pittsburgh. And Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer. So to say that Ben Roethlisberger makes someone's career, it's not crazy to think about. But I don't know if Antonio Brown is the guy to say that about. Is my big problem. I just don't. And you could say he's trying to take a shot at the Steelers. I think he's more trying to, cape up for his man. He's a big Roethlisberger guy. He probably worked there when Roethlisberger was younger and really came into his own. He probably really loves Ben Roethlisberger. And maybe instead of taking a shot at the team, he's more trying to defend the team, since Antonio Brown is kind of the aggressor right now in this situation. But either way, regardless, I don't think Antonio Brown's going anywhere. They're going to figure this out, and they'll be in the playoffs, like I said.
All right. Well, the playoffs are a good thing. And since the playoffs are so far away, obviously it's important to start predicting and thinking about it. We've got a bunch of 2-0 teams right now, and I know it's only week 2, but everybody's talking about it, and I've got a question for you.
Who's real? Who's not?
That's right. Who is real? Who's fake out of the 2-0 teams? We've got, the Bengals, the Broncos, the Bucks, the Chiefs, Dolphins, the Jags, the Rams, and now I'm going to throw them in there as undefeated. They're not 2-0, but we got the Packers and the Vikings. They're 1-0-1. So, I'll let that slide as an undefeated team. But as it said right there in the intro, let me ask you, who's real? Who's fake? Let's start with the Bengals. Are they real or are they fake?
The Bengals, to me, they're real. I think they're a real threat in the AFC North. I think they can win the division. I came into this season thinking really low of the Bengals. I didn't think they didn't really make many personnel changes. It didn't really seem like they were really looking at being, pushing ahead from last year. They didn't have a good year last year, and they only seem to be going down. But I think they've really turned around. Andy Dalton looks pretty good this year. Again, pretty good for Andy Dalton. I don't mean to say that we're not calling Andy Dalton All-Pro this year or anything like that. I'm just saying that I think he's come along. He's improved. Their receiving core, even though they are still without Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones that they had a couple of years ago, they still look good. John Ross looks way better this year than he did last year. Eifert's healthy. He hasn't been super active in their passing game, but Tyler Kroft has stepped up, and Uzoma has also done some damage at tight end. But Eifert's a threat when he's on the field. You have to account for him. I think his presence is a big deal for them. Their running game looks okay, even though they let Jeremy Hill go, which he wasn't really great for them anyway, and they moved on from him. He was kind of a mouthy guy anyway. But they look pretty good right now. Again, it's only been 2 weeks. They had a Thursday game. Anyone can have a good or bad Thursday game. But
it was against the Ravens, and I know that the Ravens are up in the air, but it's a divisional matchup. They always play hard, so no matter what, whether the Ravens are real or not, that was a real matchup. So I gotta admit that they did go out there and they earned that win.
And Cowherd is still high on the Ravens. He still thinks they're real. He still says they're a dark horse Super Bowl team. I'm not with them. I'm not in on the Ravens. I don't think they're nearly as good as he's saying they are. But I mean, that, like you said, the Bengals still went out. They got the win. Andy Dalton had 4 touchdown passes, 3 in the first half, I think.
Yeah.
They came out and played. They came out and took it to the Ravens. They punched them in the mouth at the beginning of the game and said, "This is our game. We are winning this," and they took it. So to me, that's the mark of a good team, is a team that can come out and just take what is in front of them.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up, let me go ahead and take another team. You've kind of covered that. There's no point in me covering that. So the next team I want to talk about is the Broncos. I'll take them. Are they real? Are they fake? This team is 100% fake. Do not get hyped up on what they've done. They have beaten the Seattle Seahawks, which this is my team. And I'm sitting here telling you, we are not that good. Any other year, you've talked to me before, I'd be like, oh, if they beat us, they better get to the Super Bowl. So I'm being real here. They beat us, and then they barely beat the Oakland Raiders, who right now is kind of on the fence if they're real or fake for me. The defense is a good defense. I'm not putting them in the top defenses. They're not the defense.
Right. They did lose a keep to lead.
Yeah, they did. And from what I've seen against the Raiders and us, they're giving up plays when it matters. They give up big plays still. They make stops, yes. I mean, Von Miller's there too as well. So, I mean, that's always a big, important part of it, and Marshall. But they give up plays, they give up points, and I don't see anything that can counteract what their offense puts them through. And what I mean by that is Case Keenum is Case Keenum.
Right.
I had high hopes for him coming into the season because, I thought maybe what he did with the Vikings, he'd come in here to a solid team. He's got Thomas, he's got Sanders, he's got Lindsey, he's got an offense around him. So in my mind, I'm like, this guy, all he's got to do is do what he did with the Vikings. He's just got to control the clock. But the guy is week in and week out now for 2 weeks, shown that, yeah, he's got yards and stuff, and he can pick up the plays, but he makes mistakes. He rushes throws. His footwork is disgusting. He's just not a good QB. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, is he able to start for one of the 32 teams? For now, they're fake. So that's what I say for that. Let me go ahead and toss the next one at you. You can take, let's say, I'm going to give you an option between two. Do you want the Chiefs or the Dolphins?
Oh, give me the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins.
Really? Okay, go ahead. Let us know.
So,
are the Dolphins real or fake?
Absolutely not. I do like the Chiefs, but Dolphins, I want to talk about the Dolphins because, like you said, they're 2-0. No way are they real. Their defense does look okay, right? Their defense looks pretty good. It's not like they don't have any talent on the team at all. They let their best player go in the offseason. Jarvis Landry is a Brown now. They have a quarterback who threw for 180 yards or something like that. What did he throw for? Tannehill's not, even though he's their franchise guy, he's not the real franchise guy. I mean, we're looking at probably a quarterback move in Miami here in the next couple of years. And they just – sure, they're 2-0. They played Tennessee week 1, and they played the Jets week 2. And, yeah, the Jets came in on a hot week. But they also talked about how they knew all of the Lions' play calls. So, the Jets defense didn't get 5 picks for Sam Darnold this week. And Sam Darnold looked okay, but not great. And that's what happens when a rookie quarterback plays a decent defense, and his defense doesn't give him the ball back 5 times. So the Dolphins aren't bad. I don't think – yeah, they're 2-0, and they're leading the AFC North. Congrats. The AFC East.
Yeah, AFC East. Yeah, that's interesting, right?
but no one's sitting here saying, "Oh, the Dolphins are a real threat in the AFC East." No, if the Dolphins want anything, they have to be a wild card team because nobody's beating the Patriots. And here's the real test. If the Dolphins played the Patriots this week, I'm not sure who they play this week, but if they do, who are you picking?
Patriots all day long.
Right. So there's a playoff team. Okay, so if the Dolphins played the Steelers this week, who are you picking?
The Steelers. Steelers. Well, yeah, who's
I'm
home?
picking the Steelers. Either way, I'm still picking the Steelers. I just think they're maybe they're 8-8. Maybe they surprise us all and they have a winning record. I just don't think that there's nothing really that interesting about them. The Drake kid has filled in well since they traded Ajayi last year in midseason. I don't like them. I don't like them.
Gotcha. No, that's understood. And honestly, if I had to choose it, I'd say they were fake too. Well, since you took the Dolphins, I'm going to leave the Chiefs there for you for a second because I know that you actually wanted them to. I probably was a little unfair for me to throw that one to you. So I'm going to take the Rams because that's another team right there. They're in my division. So I hate this part because the inner Seahawks fan in me wants to say that they're as fake as $2 diamonds. But as a person that wants to be completely unbiased and a realist and a lover of the sport, this team is so real. They are scary. They are one of the best teams, if not the best teams in the NFL. They're as real as can be. They got one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. That defense is the most, I'm going to say it, they look like the most dangerous defense in the NFL right now. They went out there and got it for what they needed to get. They went out and picked every single person that they needed. I'm saying this with the Bears having Khalil Mack doing what they're doing. I'm saying this with the Vikings doing what they're doing. I'm saying this with the Eagles having their defense. Right now, I'm saying that the Rams, I believe, has the best defense in the NFL. And I'm not just saying that because what they did to Arizona, that's expected. But as
Larry went down and got injured, and
Bradford's expected to do that, but what we see on that defense, I believe, is going to translate from the Cardinals on not in the same manner of points being scored against them and whatnot, but they went out and got some great people. I hate Tully, by the way, so I'm not saying that everybody but him. I really don't like him.
I think he's a talented player, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, he's talented, but he's a terrible human being. And go ahead and record that if you don't like it. But I think the Rams are real. We know it. This isn't one that really is going to surprise the listeners, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. Gurley's a beast. Just their entire team is dangerous. Cooks, Woods, I mean, you name it, that's what it is. Right now, the teams that are left, Chiefs, Vikings, Packers, Bucks, Jags. Which one do you want?
Oh, of all those teams? That's a tough one. You did leave the Chiefs for me, and I'll take the Chiefs. I'll just go with them. I'll roll with them. Pat Mahomes has shown us all what people have been talking about for the past 2 years. When he came in as a first-round pick last year, they traded up to get him. Everyone was kind of like, didn't really know what to think about him. Then all we heard was raves about him from the Chiefs organization, right? Through training camp, through OTAs, all this stuff. Oh my God, this guy is it. This guy is the real deal. And they don't play him, right? They keep Alex Smith in. And you think, well, how much of the real deal is he really? If
he looked great in the preseasons too. He always looked good in the preseasons.
And I just think, like, to me, I'm always wary of that, right? When someone is like the Ravens right now with Lamar Jackson. Oh, he's so great. He's such a baller. He's such a great player. Well, but he's not playing. I know you got Flacco, but he's not playing, you know? So how good is he really? He's not going to take the job. Same thing with A.J. McCarron in Cincinnati. Me being a native of Southwest Ohio, I know a lot of Bengals fans, and they're always saying whenever Andy Dalton has a rough game or when he has a rough season, we need to get McCarron in the game. He's a winner. We need to play this guy. And I said, there's a reason that he's not starting, and look what's happened to him since. They traded him away because they don't need him. Obviously, he's not taking the job from Andy Dalton. He goes to the Bills, who has Nathan Superman Peterman, right? Like, oh, this guy's a real game changer. They still trade him away, right? McCarron's not in Buffalo anymore. He's in Oakland, right in the bench, right? So I'm always wary of that when people say that. But when you look at the season, Pat Mahomes is throwing for this past week 350 yards. He threw 5 incompletions, had all those yards on 28 passes, and 23 completions, had all those yards. He's throwing for touchdowns. He's just, he's doing everything that you want him to do to give him this, like, to crown him as he is a successful young quarterback. He's doing it all. And I know we see this sometimes with, like, your early, like, Dak Prescott looked great as a rookie and maybe not so good now. But the difference is Pat Mahomes is pushing the ball upfield now. He's not doing the deck and dunk like we heard before. He's not just throwing over the middle. And then to add to that, you have Kareem Hunt, who led the league in rushing last year. You have, or did he lead the league in rushing? I think he did, but Gurley had more all-purpose yards, maybe.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
I'd have to look. So I would retract that. But either way, he had a great rookie season. Tyreek Hill is an incredible football player. People who have been in the Chiefs camp have said put him in. Like Mike Vick spent time in the Chiefs camp, has said put him in as one of the best receivers in the league right now. He's one of the top guys, and he's kind of proven it too. You got Travis Kelce, who's been a top-ranked tight end. Their offense is so good. It doesn't matter that Ben Roethlisberger throws for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns, whatever it was, right? It doesn't matter that he does that to their defense because they're going to score on you. And this is the same thing we've seen with Peyton Manning in the past on his teams. Their offense is so good it doesn't matter what their defense does because they're going to score on you no matter what. And yeah. I just think that they're definitely real. They're here to take the AFC West, and that's not necessarily. I know the Broncos are kind of down. The Raiders might be kind of down, but the Chargers are not down. The Chargers look just –
And by the way, Kareem Hunt did have 1,327 yards last season. He was the rushing leader, just so you know.
Okay.
So that you were right about that. And hey, I agree with you on everything that they're showing us. The only thing that scares me about them is this is not new for us on the Chiefs. Now, it is new on the quarterback level, but the only thing that scares me, and I just want to throw this out there as devil's advocate, we've seen them start off undefeated years in a row. We've seen them, run into the playoffs on fire. Is Mahomes the changer? Is he the one that gets them to the next level? They have everything else they need. I
didn't see Alex Smith throw for 350 yards on 23 completions before, so
that's
a big difference.
That's a key factor, yes. But their defense, I believe, has gotten a little weaker than it was back when they had, and so now it would have to be a shootout. And then when you're talking about Pat versus Tom or Pat versus someone like that.
But this is what Pat is used to. Pat Mahomes comes from Texas Tech, who plays in the no defense Big 12. This is what he's been doing his entire football career so far. He's been throwing touchdowns and taking names, and he's here to tell you that the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the real or not, real or fake undefeated teams, shall we call it? Because I don't want to call them 2-0 teams because the Packers and Vikings. We're going to go a little bit speed up round now because we're getting near the end of our time here. So I'm going to go ahead and just go and take the Jags because that's who I want right here. I want the Jags for a special reason because I love the Jags football. They were molded after Seattle. If you don't know that, you got to take a look at how they were molded in the first place. Back when, things started to really form, it happened right around when Seattle was in their run. And if you look at a couple teams right now, you'll see that they started molding their team right around the time Seattle was being Seattle. The Eagles are molded after Seattle. The Jaguars are molded after Seattle. And I believe the Vikings are molded after. They all went defense strong cornerbacks, physical cornerbacks. They went with the nasty D-line with the Bennetts and the loud, the arrogant players. I mean, they went with a very similar ordeal. And I love the Jaguars football. I love it. But they are real because of Bortles. We knew they were real because of listen, man, we knew they were real.
You mean Roddy Bortles?
So in case anybody doesn't know, today on NFL Network, NFL.com, on their top 3 quarterbacks of the weekend voting thing, there's a typo and they had Roddy Bortles in there. It's fixed by now. I had to double check, but I was like, wait a minute. Have I been pronouncing his? I mean, have I been going off of a nickname this whole time? I sent a screenshot to Paul and I'm like, what's wrong here? As I was worried, maybe this whole time his name's Roddy and we just never knew because he's like, call me Blake, But no, so we knew they were real defense wise. We knew it. They went to the AFC Championship game. They almost won it. I mean, we knew that. we didn't know if Blake could really put it in. He's able to get ahead, but really, gun it out. What we saw against the Patriots was a statement game from the Jaguars that they are not playing games and that Blake is maturing and that he's better than he was. Now, I'm not sitting there saying Blake's Aaron. I'm not sitting there saying Blake's Tom. I'm not even sitting there saying Blake's Luck or Wilson or Breeze or, the top 8, I'd say. He's not that. But he's floating around 12, maybe 10. He's around there.
I think you're giving him a little, but he did have a really good game. He's
always had the arm talent. The footwork has been there. It's a little, but it's all been this up here. What is the magic number for a QB? 3 to 4 years with that offensive coordinator or that playbook.
You start to really come into
That's where we're sitting at right now. Blake's been there. He's starting to put together this team. This is his team, and he took it on his shoulders. I know I said we're going to speed it up, so I don't want to go too deep, but I believe the Jags are as real can be. I'm going to save that for later. So we got Packers, Vikings, and Bucks. Pick one and give us like a quick bang, bang, boom.
Okay, I'll take the Bucks. Bucks are real as long as Fitzpatrick is a quarterback this season. As far as the future goes, I don't know, but Fitzpatrick is bringing an attitude to that team that we haven't seen under Jameis Winston. It is Fitzpatrick's team, and they are real.
Are you saying you want Fitzpatrick there all year long?
Yes. Fitzpatrick is their starter. They are 2-0 against a Super Bowl champ and a playoff team last year. They come in against Steelers this week. This is another test game for them. But look at what they started their season with, and they're 2-0 right now.
If Fitzpatrick goes in there and spanks the Steelers, what are you saying?
Oh, they're definitely real. They're NFC South. I'll call if they're 3-0 after this week. I'll call them NFC South champs. I'll say it.
Oh man,
the other teams will knock each other out.
For the podcast listeners right now that aren't watching the video, that wasn't a technical difficulty. I had to give them a look for you guys because I know you gave them the look. You're in the car right now, looking at the radio, like, oh, what did he?
Think about that. He beat the Saints in a shootout, right, against Drew Brees. He beat the Eagles, defending Super Bowl champs. Now he's going on to play the Steelers. If he beats the Steelers, that's 3 playoff teams from last year, and he's beat them all.
It's Fitzmagic, man.
They are real.
Fitzmagic with his masters from Harvard and whooping a can of behind, in the NFL. I got to be careful. It's PG. All right, let's go quick. Packers. Fake. So here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to blow people's minds on this. I don't think they're all there. Yes, they have Aaron Rodgers, the most talented quarterback in the universe, and I love it. But you cannot rely on him 100%. You just can't. The team plays around him, but if the team doesn't come out to play, then they're screwed. If he gets hurt, they're screwed. If he trips if he has to pee, they're screwed. Like, it's all Aaron Rodgers. They can't constantly be relying on him to drive the game back with 2 minutes left because they can't hold the game together, or they've given up. It's just I can't say that this man being the most talented and most incredible quarterback is enough to take his mediocre team into the next realm. I can't do that, and I'm not going to do that, especially in a division with the Bears, because I think the Bears are coming for them next time they see them in Soldier Field. So
it will be a matchup.
Yeah, Khalil looking for you. He smells blood in the water. Plus, Aaron's got that brace on, and then the Vikings ain't happy about that. They want you again. So I just don't see it. They're fake. They're fake, fakety, fake. Last one, you got the Vikings. Go ahead and wrap it up.
Just a quick thing I would say on the Packers. Also, I'll call them less than a mediocre team without Aaron Rodgers. They're awful without Aaron Rodgers. They're the worst team in the league when he doesn't. They're above Buffalo. They're the 31st best team in the league.
Without Aaron, though. Let's be very
clear. Without Aaron. Right.
I love –
with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I love Aaron.
They're pretty good. But
I love
without
about
Aaron
5
Rodgers,
players on the Packers. Let me just be very clear. I love about 5. I love haha. I love haha Clinton Dix.
I just like his
Mike
name.
I love Mike Daniels. I love Cobb. I love Graham. You don't love Graham. I love Graham.
I'm
And I
not a
love
big
Aaron.
fan.
And I like Williams running the ball. I mean, there's a couple players, but like for some reason, when he's not there,
Right, nothing.
yeah.
Now to the Vikings. So Vikings are definitely real. Vikings, like we've said before, have the most complete roster, like the most well-rounded, the best overall roster in the league right now. We both believe that. Kirk Cousins showed what everyone has said that he couldn't do for so long. He's had some big games in the past that he kind of dropped the ball on, but this was a big game. You're playing division rival Packers. You know who they are. You know what they do. He came out and he played. He balled. I mean, I know he did have the pick with that got called back, but he also threw that great touchdown pass to Thielen.
And the 2-point conversion.
Bring them right, and the 2-point conversion. He threw for over 400 yards. He was there to make that statement, like we said about the Jaguars against the Patriots. He was making a statement. They unfortunately didn't win the game because their kicker didn't make the field goal. But as we've seen around the league, maybe one other team, maybe one other city, sometimes kickers don't do it. But they tied that game, and we all know they should have won that game. And we all think that the Vikings have this great team. They have a better defense than the Packers. And look at their offense. They have 2,000-yard receivers returning. They have Dalvin Cook. They have Kirk Cousins. Their line looks pretty good. They're real. They're definitely real.
Awesome. All right, guys. Hey, it's Tuesday. We got a couple days till Thursday night football. So we're going to really quickly talk about that. We had a couple other things that we had slotted to talk about, but we've ran out of time. So we're going to save that for the next podcast. So final thing is a quick prediction for Thursday. I'm going to just go real quick. I'm going to call it Jets. Made a mistake there.
Watch it.
Browns are going to win this game. I know that normally would sound weird, and I feel like it would draw a explanation. Automatically, if you say Browns, like go ahead and explain it. If you've been watching football, if you've been watching the Browns, I honestly don't think I owe an explanation on that. I think that the Browns are going to win this game. It's not even that much of a, oh my goodness, I don't think this is an upset. I believe that the Browns have a great defense. A top 10 defense, possibly. It's weird saying that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the offense has some issues, but when clicking, they look good too. Like, I don't know. I really think their problem is more mental. I think it's more coaching, organizational. They're fighting a really long old divorce. And sometimes your crazy ex-wife shows up at your door knocking, and you have PTSD, and you have, bad dreams, and you wake up and like, if we had to use an analogy here, the Cleveland Browns this year are a battered, beaten war vet, somebody. But seriously, they have issues that are deeper than a lot of us would understand because of all that. Like, they don't know how to win. They don't know where to dig deep for that. And for the people that don't play football and never did play football, you might not understand how real that is. You have to taste winning. You have to taste that. You have to have that drive. That's why certain teams stay in those numbers, even though they're not winning Super Bowls, and we have the parity we have. Certain teams continue to stay, in the winning brackets because you have to taste that winning. I think the Browns just need a little bit more time to really escape that culture. They have a new culture they're starting to build, and I'm picking the Browns. I feel like an alcoholic super excited at AA or something.
Hey, I love the pick. I'm also going with the Browns, and
it would have been hilarious if you were like, I love the pick, but I'm definitely picking the Jets.
No, I'm going with the Browns. Not just because they're my guys, but I think with the rookie quarterback, Darnold had his first taste last week against that real defense. Right, he had some issues. He threw 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That's not good. And I think the Browns defense is better than the Dolphins. Like you said,
yeah,
with a top 10 defense. That Browns defense is real. They're hungry, and Greg Williams has them chomping at the bit. They're going to take that rookie quarterback, and they're going to chew him up. They're going to spit him out. And then I'm tired of the Sam Darnold to Baker Mayfield comparisons, and the Browns are going to show the world Sam Darnold's not all he's cracked up to be.
You see, I wear my orange brown. That's the orange brown today. For the viewers, they see what I'm talking about. Hey, with all that, this is Mike Pagano. That's Paul Helmers. This is MVP News. Hey, if you guys like this, please subscribe, whether you're on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. If you're watching it on YouTube, we got the video podcast up for people that wanted to watch it. In fact, for the people that are watching, this isn't going to end right now. We're going to go over top 5 plays of the weekend, and we're just going to hit that real quick. If you're listening now on iTunes or Stitcher, go ahead and hop over to YouTube. Check it out. See what else we have. We're going to be giving you guys small content there as well. But all in all, like it, subscribe, leave comments. Let us know what you like, what you want. Do you want us to shorten these up? Do you want us to lengthen them out? We've got more information coming down. Things are rolling fast. So if you're with us now, you're going to grow with us now. So all in all, we appreciate you guys listening. Let's get ready for Thursday Night Football. We'll see you guys back here Friday morning. This is MVP News, and you guys have a great night.
All right, guys. We're here with our YouTube fans with our top 5 plays of the week.
Number 5, Watson to Fuller. Kick it.
2nd and 7. Watson looking deep down the left side of the field for Fuller. Fuller has got it. Touchdown, Texans.
That is a beautiful throw right there. The fact that he was able to thread that needle and just drop it. I don't know about you, but that's kind of what I was waiting for from last week when they played the Patriots. I was like, man, I hope we see what Watson was doing last year. But that was a beautiful throw, beautiful, just right in the basket. And obviously Fuller had to be aware, had to catch it. So I think he did a great, excellent job getting that. But yeah, that's just a great throw.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I expect to see out of Deshaun Watson after what we saw last year. Only thing now is for the team to pull away with the win.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and run number 4. This is from the Jaguars and Patriots game. I don't even have to introduce this clip. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it by now, but who can't, show it when you're talking about top 5.
That's easily this year. We can go back here. That's Odell Beckham right there. Look at that. And then keep it away from Rowe. I got it. And now let me bring it away from you. And let's just calmly come down. Look at that. That's the Odell Beckham catch.
Now, I don't like the commentator saying that's the Odell Beckham catch because I get the one hand behind and, I get that. Didn't Odell have bare hands when he did that? Was Odell wearing a glove?
I'm pretty sure he's wearing a glove. Odell wears gloves.
I know, but I could have swore that was something special about that. But I don't know. Something about the way that hit his hand, it looked like it did stick, like the gloves played a part in that. I don't know. Something about that. It was a beautiful catch, though. It truly is a beautiful catch. It's kind of questionable on the ball placement, like you were saying. But you can't knock that. That's just awareness, talent. That's all wide receiver.
And that's a rookie. Yeah.
He had a pretty good game. In that same drive, he had a touchdown on a much more conventional catch. But no, definitely good drive. Good catch. Next up, we have the Browns. Why don't you introduce this?
The Browns made top plays.
Oh, yeah.
Are you saying the Cleveland Browns made top plays? No, this was a great play. What really kind of drove it home is the importance of the play. Browns are down. They need a score to at least tie the game, if not take the lead. They could have taken the lead at the extra point. Kicker missed. But, this is what we were looking for last week, too, with Tyrod Taylor. He needed to pull ahead. He drops this ball in perfectly to Antonio Callaway and back in the end zone.
Awesome.
Taylor for the end zone. Catch made.
It's a bomb.
Touchdown, Antonio Callaway.
Oh, I'm going to let it finish. But it's like it came down. But,
right.
that's not like traditional Tyrod, but
that was a big league throw right there.
All right, I'm gonna say this like this, and I hope people don't take this out of context. That was like an Aaron Rodgers throw. No, I'm not saying it at all, and I don't think he'd ever do that again, Tyrod. Right. But that was an AR throw.
He could do it again, but that was
not on purpose.
Basically, that's top level Tyrod. That's an outlier. That's
I mean, what's that? The phrase you're gonna hit a fish if you're shooting in a barrel or some stupid stuff like that.
Blind squirrel finds a nut, you could say.
Yeah, right. I'm just messing with you. No, good play. So obviously the context matters, and that play was very important. So this next play, very similar. I know what you guys are thinking. Browns play, Seattle play. You guys are some homers, but seriously, you're watching that. We're putting the videos right here for you. If you think that I'm lying, I mean, look at the play. This next one right here is Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett in the fourth quarter, being dominated an entire game, coming down, driving the field, and getting this. So let's go ahead and play it.
My goodness, look at this throw by Russell. Defensive end on the backside is unblocked. You saw it there. He doesn't matter. Russell takes these hits. And look at this throw. Great job by Lockett. Now putting his hands up too early. Fuller doesn't even know the ball's coming there in the last second. Lockett goes up. Makes a tough contested catch, but it's all about that.
All right. That is equally wide receiver and QB on that one. Like, it's just like the Fuller pass with the wide receiver puts it in. The QB puts it in the bucket. And then just like, not just like the one-handed catch, but Tyler had to go in there. He had to get it. If you notice, right as soon as he breaks for the ball, he kind of runs through him. And if you know what he's doing right there, if you play a little football in your time, he was trying to draw that penalty just in case he doesn't make the catch. Because if my man doesn't turn his head to the ball, if he just blocks him and impedes him to get to the ball, then you're going to get that pass interference play. So if you watch Tyler, he tries to run through him because you can't impede him unless you're playing the ball. But he ends up kind of just running through him and gets the ball. So it was a beautifully orchestrated play.
Right, great catch, yeah. That was one of my favorite plays of the night. That and that pick six,
You just had to go there. That did not make the top. I don't care if he did that upside down while eating a popsicle and painting the Mona Lisa. That will never make them. I'm just joking. It almost did make it. I love pick sixes like that. The catching like burst. They're the most beautiful pick sixes. But yeah. It just didn't make it. These catches aren't crazy. And there's other incredible catches. We've had some incredible. I could have did top 15. But the number one catch. And I chose this angle for a reason. So you were not seeing the live footage, because the live footage, you don't really see what this angle shows. So I wanted to choose this angle for a reason. Vikings are down 8. They need to do something. They just got the drive down there. Kirk Cousins has put him in the position. Not only does he need a 2-point conversion, which was a beautiful catch in its own, it's not top 5 worthy, but a very good catch that Diggs gets. Thielen, is that how you pronounce his name? I always mess up names like Thielen. Thielen. He just drops low and the ball goes between 2 defenders like a needle. Let's just watch it and we'll go from there.
Look at the concentration of Adam Thielen, 19. In between 2 Packers, ball's bobbling, takes it to his body, and goes into the end zone. Supreme concentration by Adam Thielen. And
just good old Captain Kirk, man.
All right. That's so damn perfect.
Right.
I think it's an accident.
But you wonder why Washington didn't pay the man. Give the man his money.
There's no way. If he does that on purpose, then
pay the man. Give him his money. Well,
that's crazy. But those are some great catches right there. obviously this has been a good it's been a good season. I mean, not season. Did I say season? Man, it's a long night, guys. You guys are with us throughout the whole video, and then you stick around to this on the YouTube channel, so we do appreciate that. But it's been a good 2 games so far. Make sure you guys continue to watch, like, follow, subscribe. Let us know what you want. If you want us to do anything extra content-wise, this is what the YouTube channel's for. The YouTube channel's for the extra things. I ain't got much more to say, Paul.
Oh, hit that subscribe button. Leave us some comments if you want some extra things, and we'll do what we can.
Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you guys on Friday.